Okay, so I am very pleased to introduce you all to Katherine Katie Curran Hammond, class of 1971. So by her own acknowledgement, Katie Curran Hammond's long and distinguished career in law, the judiciary, and community service sprang from her St. Catherine's experience. In her 2 years as a boarder, Katie threw herself into a variety of school and activities and leadership roles. After graduating from Denison, she went to the Big Apple and then to UVA Law School in 1981. Katie began her legal career as a judicial law clerk in the Southern District of New York, perhaps the most active and influential federal trial court in the U.S. From there, her career followed a steady uphill trajectory, culminating in her serving as a trial court judge on the 14th Judicial Circuit for 16 years, always with compassion and servant leadership as her guides. As a judge, Katie saw firsthand the revolving door syndrome so prevalent in cases involving drug addiction. With a colleague, she created the first drug treatment court in Henrico County, a collaboration among law enforcement, the court, and healthcare providers that seeks alternatives to incarceration. Of this program, the Bar Association president noted, "The Henrico Drug Court has dramatically changed the landscape of dealing with substance abusers in this county and has not just saved lives, but has helped hundreds of individuals rebuild their life." Recently, Katie co-authored Personal Reflections on the Opioid Epidemic and Legal Responses for the University of Richmond Public Interest Law Review. Katie's passion for serving others seems boundless. While managing a busy docket of civil cases, family law cases, and criminal cases, and serving as Chief Justice of her own circuit, she chaired the Board of Directors of St. Andrew's School, an independent, fully accredited elementary school in Richmond designed for families with low incomes. Throughout her career, Katie has mentored others in the legal profession and volunteered as a pro bono lawyer. She has been active in local civic groups such as Leadership Metro Richmond. Katie has also filled many legal advisory roles, including the editorial board of the Virginia Book for Lawyers and Judges and the faculty of the Virginia State Bar Professionalism course. In her retirement, Katie owns and manages Juridical Solutions PLC, an alternate dispute resolution firm made up of retired judges who help would-be litigants resolve disputes and save time and cost of going to court. She is also a faculty member of the National Drug Court Institute and provides training for drug treatment courts in all 50 states, as well as a guest lecturer for the John Marshall Foundation, which educates teachers and students about the Constitution and the rule of law. A recent effort to which Katie has dedicated herself since retiring in 2015 has been a project to dramatically increase the number of pro bono or volunteer lawyers for legal aid clients. Previously, many victims of domestic violence were trying to navigate their cases alone because the legal aid was not able to represent everyone. In 2017, the Triage Project was created and an electronic case system, and they developed an electronic case system with the help of Capital One Bank. Now volunteer lawyers can simply log in, take the pro bono cases without even leaving their offices. Triage attorneys handle protective orders, evictions, uncontested divorces, and more. In the past 18 months, the pro bono triage lawyers have handled over 500 tenant eviction cases by working out settlement between tenants and landlords. Katie's dedication to drive and to help those in need has earned her many awards, including the 2011 Women of Achievement Award from the Metro Women's Bar Association, the Curran Foundation Award for Public Service, and the Bronze Key Award from the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependency. Virginia Lawyers Weekly named her in their 2020 Hall of Fame as the leader in the law in 2018, and to their list of influential women of Virginia in 2015. But in a letter Katie wrote to the Ellen Alumni Board, upon being notified of this award, she said, "It is a great honor to be recognized as a distinguished alumna. It is more meaningful than any professional accolades that I have been fortunate to receive. This is because St. Catherine's really turned me towards a positive, hopeful future. The turning in my case was much needed. In only 2 years at St. Catherine's, I changed from a worried, frightened girl to a capable, optimistic girl. How? The students treated me like I belonged. The teachers expected me and everyone else to try hard and aim high. Chapel, chores, playtime, and leadership chances were all important. No one talked to me about my family problems and how it made me feel different or separate. The faculty, staff, and students simply reflected the message that we were all God's children and that he, she, or they wanted us to be responsible for right actions. I am always grateful for St. Catherine's values. Be a friend, use your mind, help others, tend to your spiritual development. What we keep, we lose, and only what we give remains our own." Humble and grateful to the core, Katie epitomizes what it means to live the school motto. We are proud to name her as the 2021 Distinguished Alumna Award recipient. Sorry, I almost forgot. Thank you. But anyway, congratulations and thank you so much. We're really quite honored to have you as one of us.
I am too. I just wanted to say I want everybody in my class to stand up. Class of 71. Are you already standing up? In our class, and I'm sure throughout the whole group of alumni, I mean, we have probably 20 business owners. We have a doctor who went back to medical school in her 40s. I mean, we have everything. We have an Episcopal priest. It's crazy. So, you know, if you come here, you have to do volunteer work. That's what happens. But it's very nice. I really appreciate this very much. It means a lot to me. If we were still in the chapel, I thought, well, no one ever says all these incredibly nice things about you unless you're really in a coffin. If we were in chapel, I was going to say, turn now to page 469. That is the rites of burial in your prayer book. I want to thank my husband, Paul. My son Matthew is here. His brother couldn't be here. But my two roommates are here, Karen, Chris, and Sarah Simpson. Responsible for a lot of laughing. And everybody else. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, so Anna is not here today, but she will join us by video very soon. but I am pleased to announce Anna Woodmundsey as the Distinguished Young Alumna of 2021. Anna, sorry, this is blinking around. I'm punching the wrong buttons, I'm sure. Something that's pretty typical. Anyway, Anna Woodmundsey is squarely in between the ages of Orville, 22, and Wilbur, 36, right, as they made aeronautical history. This summer, Anna was herself part of aeronautical history, and the vehicle she designed for the flight on Mars carried a piece of the 1903 Wright plane. As an aerospace systems design engineer for NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Anna and her team were tasked with designing the prototype helicopter called Ingenuity to accompany rover Perseverance on our country's latest and most complex Mars mission. Because of the considerably thinner Mars atmosphere, the helicopter had to be light, only 4 pounds, and aerodynamic. Last April, the world held its collective breath as the $85 million Ingenuity performed its first powered flight on another planet. Deploying the helicopter was risky, and Anna's team absolutely had to assure that Ingenuity had no chance of endangering the $3 billion rover. It speaks to the immense importance of Ingenuity's successful flight that in spite of the severe constraints on weight, Ingenuity's design incorporated a tiny piece of fabric from the wing of the Wright plane that changed the course of history in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina in 1903. From a very early age, Anna was always held a fascination for space travel, and the more she learned about space exploration, the more entranced she became. Woodmundsey's senior ambition in the career was to become an aerospace engineer. Woodmundsey credits her science teacher and faculty advisor, and now our head of school, Cindy Trask, as an inspirational teacher at St. Catherine's. Anna was what we science teachers would describe as an inquisitive discoverer. She was insatiably curious and very resourceful in seeking out opportunities for collaborating, designing, and researching. She didn't struggle with failures in the lab, seeing them as opportunities to adapt, to grow, and to learn. Anna was a very successful student, and she was also humble and inclusive in her achievements. I remember her wide smile and mental fortitude, definitive of her personal warmth and resilience. After St. Catherine's, Anna attended Georgia Tech and began interning at NASA after her freshman year, working on designing the drill for Curiosity and Perseverance without any Mars test rock samples or knowledge of the structural properties of which they would be drilling into. She describes such work as design without access, as it often means designing for the unknown. In designing the helicopter, her team tested it in a massive structure in which they simulated conditions like sunlight, atmosphere, and radiation inside a specially created 2-story high, 25-foot in diameter structure. Anna continued working at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory after earning her Bachelor's of Science in Aerospace Engineering in 2017, and then enrolled in Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, working towards a 2023 master's in the field of study of autonomous and unmanned vehicle systems engineering. This summer, Anna experienced what so many of us have experienced in the midst of the ongoing pandemic. Her life and career veered into a different track. In August, she began working on a new master's degree in clinical psychology at Pepperdine, working towards a PhD in neuropsychology. The pandemic made it very obvious to me that one of the biggest systems engineering problems in our society is facing right now is how we treat mental health both in our daily lives and in medicine. I'm going to apply my systems engineering background to mapping the mind-body connection in the nervous system and develop treatment modalities for trauma that use heightened neuroplasticity to retrain people's autonomic nervous system response to chronic stress and or trauma. It sounds like a complete 180, but the science behind how our brains develop physical responses to emotions is quite similar to training a learning algorithm for autonomous robots. Time to take all of the learning to help people heal. Not many people, even over the course of several decades, can claim they have pursued a career that literally changes our world. At the tender age of 28, Anna Woodmundsey is on track to make a second such momentous impact. We can't wait to see what Anna accomplishes next, and we are incredibly proud to count her as an alumna and the recipient of the 2021 Distinguished Young Alumna Award.
Thank you so much for that incredible introduction. I'm so honored to be recognized by an organization that means so much to me personally. While other schools taught me the specifics of my fields, from aeroelasticity to now neuropsychology, I credit St. Catherine's for allowing me to develop the skills that have led me to succeed and apply that knowledge to make the world a better place. From introspection and reflection to interdisciplinary problem solving and an emphasis on community and respect, St. Catherine's gave us the time and space to develop these skills and values in ourselves. And these have been just as instrumental in my life and success as any technical expertise I gained since stepping off the portico for the last time over a decade ago. In fact, it's those same values that have led me to leave the aerospace industry after 9 years of flagship missions in order to apply my research to the neuropsychology of chronic stress and trauma to help the community. Without having exposure to an environment like St. Catherine's, I would otherwise have been blind to how much room we have to improve in aerospace and as a society, and how much of a difference it can make to feel seen, heard, validated, and advocated for. Walking into St. Catherine's as an upper school transfer, I'd never had exposure to an environment where the people in power genuinely took an interest in me as a person, beyond test scores and competition rankings. Knowing those environments exist and believing there really are people who care beyond their own self-interest changed my life. And that has been my greatest defense against normalizing the systemic discrimination and abuse I've encountered since. So many young women are leaving STEM because they're made to believe they are the problem. But I was lucky enough to have been shown otherwise. The teachers and advisors who showed me I was worth more than my grades allowed me to push through and not give up in the face of adversity. So many of my colleagues and friends have never known what it feels like to be seen, heard, validated, or advocated for in their place of work or school, and they're suffering for it. My research in applying systems engineering to the neuropsychology of chronic stress, trauma, and abuse aims to provide empirical data to support meaningful change in how schools and companies treat individuals. My experience at St. Catherine's has allowed me to be grateful for the opportunities I've had in aerospace and confident in my ability to enact change and make things better, even with an unconventional career shift. I'm so excited to continue working towards furthering our understanding of the human experience and our place in the universe, and it means so much that the people who first empowered me to make a difference feel the same. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see how we've all made a difference in the next 10 years.
I feel like I need a moment as I bookend a beloved student and advisee, and now an incredible mentor and a person who just changed the course of my life. So this is another one of those St. Catherine's moments for me. St. Catherine's has never been just a job for Sue Baldwin. St. Catherine's has been her second family. She says, I have had the opportunity to be part of two families, my family at home, and my family at school. My cup runneth over as I am surrounded by love and care on all sides. It is with great appreciation that the Saints family said goodbye to Sue at the end of the last school year. She left to join the Virginia Association of Independent Schools, VAIS, as a consultant with independent schools in Virginia in the areas of diversity, equity, inclusion, social justice, and community health and well-being. Although Sue wore many hats over her 39-year career at St. Catherine's, for the last 9 years at the school, she served as the assistant head of school. She was the staff liaison for education and inclusion committees on the board. She chaired the Global Committee for Curriculum Enhancement and Development, developed the Art of Change summer program for underserved girls. She has tirelessly elevated the core value, celebrating individuals, to help others recognize the strength that comes from our differences, and has been instrumental in advancing the school's DEI initiatives. She helped shape our Path Forward plan from the summer of 2020 that included staffing recommendations and the recent appointment of our new Director of Access, Equity, and Belonging, Tish Kennedy, who joined St. Catherine's, as I told you, just this July. Sue served for 1 year as the interim head of school, 2011-2012, and was the director of middle school for 13 years prior to that. It was as that role, and in that role of interim head of school, that stands out to Sue as one of the highlights of her career at St. Catherine's. When the board asked me to serve as interim head during the 2011-2012 year, I was moved beyond measure by the honor to serve the school in that capacity. Standing in the back of St. Stephen's Church, ready to process at the opening school service, took my breath away, and I looked out at the girls and my colleagues. As tears fell, I prayed that God would give me the strength and knowledge to care for each one of them, mind, body, and spirit. It was a year of challenge made easier by the grace I received and the lessons learned from the entire community. And while Sue continued to learn from others during her career, she taught and inspired so many students, teachers, and parents over the course of nearly 4 decades. Sue was one of the most amazing teachers I had at St. Catherine's, and her contribution since my days in 6th grade is overwhelming, said Elizabeth Irwin, class of 2000. She is hands down one of the most kind, caring, thoughtful, giving, and dedicated members of the St. Catherine's community as a whole, as well as to students individually. Under her leadership as the director of middle school, Sue transformed it into a 4-year program starting in the 5th grade. She led the teacher evaluation committee, directed the all-school new teacher mentoring program, participated on the school strategic plan committee, and served on countless search committees, including my own. Among her many accomplishments in receiving Peggy Ross Middle School Excellence in Teaching Award in 1991, and she also received the March Miller Teaching Award for Excellence in 1999, and presenting at dozens of national and regional conferences over the years. So many, many awards and recognitions from the community. Many will fondly recall her exceptional piano performances at chapels, school assemblies, and special events. Sue said middle school was her happy place. She developed the girls as authentic in ways that bring tears to your eyes at the poignancy of their observations. They make you fall to the floor laughing at their rich sense of humor, and they take you to your knees as you pray for them when they face difficult situations at home or at school. Always keen to develop growth mindsets, Sue studied leading experts, attended conferences around the nation. The passion and expertise carried over to both her students and teachers. Sue has been the true North Star for my daughter Liza and me when she entered middle school, said Faith Norrell, mother of Liza Mickens, class of 15, who is here with us today. She was head of the middle school at that time, and our friendship remained and grew over the years. Her many leadership positions at St. Catherine's have made it the more inclusive community that it is striving to be. Her impact extends far beyond St. Catherine's. She received the 2020 VAIS Sally K. Bowes Award, which is the highest award that VAIS gives, and spent many years as the vice chair of the VAIS accreditations. Sue is just the 7th educator to receive this award. Selected annually by a subcommittee of the VAIS Board of Directors, this award is presented to an individual who embodies the qualities and service exemplified by Dr. Sally K. Bowes, the executive director of the association for 24 years. St. Catherine's has been blessed to have someone as caring and dedicated as Sue Baldwin at our school. She has had a huge impact on my life, and it is with great pleasure that we present her with the 2021 Outstanding Service Award.
Thank you ever so much, and I have to say, it is a true pleasure to be able to receive this from Cindy. Cindy was someone that I noted early on had great leadership skills, is one of the smartest people I've ever worked with, and to have her do this today really touches me. Yesterday was a typical day for me since I left St. Catherine's. I had 3 distinct exchanges with people I do not normally see. And the first one, I'm trying to follow Julie Dayton's example. I'm doing exercises now. I never did that, so I was at the gym. And I was in the hot tub trying to get my muscles straightened out. And I recognized a face, and it was a lady who was very much a part of one of my closest friends, that part of her life, Peggy Ross, who was head of the middle school. I'm sure some of you remember her. And we recognized each other right away. And I asked if she was still in Christian education, and she said, no, I've gone into another field, and I've got the best team working with me. And I've been in this new field for 15 years, but in 2 years I want to retire. And she said, so I'm trying to get the team ready. They're so gifted, they're so smart, they have the best ideas, and I just want to get out of the way and let them do it. And so that was very meaningful to me, because what I have seen here today in the pictures that Cindy showed, what I've seen on Instagram, my gosh, we're going to have beehives and we're going to do all these amazing things. That's the way it should be. Life goes on, the 21st century marches on, and the innovative ways that the students and the leadership here have already made changes. It was time to get out of the way and let that happen. The other thing is that shortly after that encounter, I went to visit an Afghan family. My connection with that family was made here. We had the program Girls Innovate, and their daughter was selected as a speaker for our second Girls Innovate program. And her mother and her sister, who was in medical school at that time, accompanied her to the campus. And we had a whole day of activities, and I took them on tour, the family, and they were so thankful for the opportunity to be here, and they talked about how wonderful it would be to have an experience like the one that you have when you're a student at St. Catherine's. And that young woman, I was able to introduce her to one of our parents, who happens to be a federal judge, and that young girl just graduated from law school and is written up twice in Forbes magazine. Wow. Getting ready to take the bar exam. And those are the kind of people that during my time here we have brought to the campus. People who are part of the world, and they can see who we are and we can see who they are. And then last night I was reading a magazine from one of the universities, and there was an interview with a university professor who was celebrating his 50th year at the school. And they talked about how he loved the Socratic method. So former students were interviewing him using the Socratic method. And the last question went something like this: 50 years, how do you maintain a passion for work that you've done for 50 years? The first part of his answer I did not agree with, but I'm going to share it with you. He said, you know, it's a thankless job. Kids don't come up to you and say, oh, thank you for this lesson, this activity, what you taught me today. That's not true here. It's very rare to have students leave your classroom without just passing your desk, teacher's desk, and saying, thank you, have a great day. He went on to say, I think they're just praying that I'll be sick so we can call off class. That is not true for St. Catherine's. The second part of his statement is very true. He said, so where do I get my passion? I get my passion from former students who take the time to write me a note. He didn't add this, I will. I've had lots of lunches with former students this summer. That's why I had to start the exercise program. And they notes galore from my colleagues, from my students, from their parents. It does not get any better than that. To know that you've had a part of somebody's life, been a part of their life, and then to see, I had Miss Woodmundsey, to see what has happened. We have leaders all over the world. Today's award says to me, it's part of that thank you. It's part of that we're still thinking of you, and we appreciate what you've done. I want to end by recognizing several people. I was told I could invite some folks to have lunch with us today, and so these people represent all the constituents, friends, who've been a part of my life at St. Catherine's. Obviously, I have to start with my husband, Rob, who's been unwavering in his support. He's been an administrator for almost ever since I've known him, except for his years in law school. And he has taught me so much. And as I always say, our children couldn't be here today, but he is our moral compass. I invited a couple of colleagues who are representing many colleagues who have touched my life in amazing ways. First, Jen Vermillion. She is a great example. She's director of Innovative Teaching and Learning, something to that effect. I had the chance to work with her in Montesquieu, especially in the last year. We met almost daily. And I learned so much from them. Wise, forward-thinking, cutting-edge, fabulous interactions every day. Even when they didn't agree with me, they showed me a better way. Julie Dayton, our director of athletics, who was here in '82 when I came. Now, she took a little time off to coach at UVA and Dartmouth, but then we got her back. And a parent who stands out in my mind as many parents do, but this one in particular, she and her husband have shared 4 daughters with us. And whenever I was struggling with something and I just needed a voice of reason, Nara Guerre. And I so appreciate her being here today. And finally, Ann Kinney. What can I say? What can I say? She's been my biggest cheerleader. She lives out the school motto each and every day. And she showed me how to do that as well. I don't do it as well as she does, but she is incredible, as are all of you. My husband said to me, do you realize, and he said this more than one time, what a great community, a workplace you go to every day? Not every place is like this. And that's the honest truth. So I thank you all, and I love seeing you. That's part of many days, is seeing former students and former colleagues. So thank you.
Good afternoon. My name's Britt Staley, and I'm a member of the class of 2001 celebrating my 20th year reunion, and I'm president of the Richmond Alumni Board. Each year, St. Catherine's recognizes its reunion classes for the dollars that they raise and for the percentage of class members who participate in reunion giving. Both are very important to the school. Dollars raised ensures that today's students and teachers have the best resources to prepare the girls for successful personal and professional lives. Participation is just as critical as it is the most visible sign of alumni support, and one that is viewed closely by philanthropic organizations that support schools like St. Catherine's. Alumni classes compete each year to reach the highest participation in giving, and the winner receives the incentive bowl at the following year's reunion. I would like to thank all the many dedicated alumni who have given their time to help raise money for St. Catherine's, including the Richmond Alumni Board, who conduct all non-reunion philanthropic phonathons, to help raise support for the school. I'm grateful to our reunion class agents and our reunion committees, and especially to all of you who have generously given back to the school that has given so much to all of us. Without question, the success of annual giving each year depends heavily on the energy and enthusiasm of our reunion classes. Since we have not had a reunion since April of 2019, today we will recognize those classes with the highest levels of participation in reunion gifts for the past 2 fiscal years. My job is a little bit easier, because the winner of the incentive bowl for both years is the class of 1975. Their participation. It's really a true inspiration to all of us. So I now invite Katherine, Dameron McCormick, and Gigi Rawls-Miller to please accept this incentive bowl.
We don't want to polish it. Hence, I did not touch it for long, because I'm sure they had me out there with gloves. Not to toot our horn too loudly, but the class of 75 is a pretty special class. We have a large contingent here today. We're excited to accept the incentive bowl for the 6th year. Wow. We are catching up to the record set by the class of 1949, who won the incentive bowl an amazing 7 times. Only 2 more times.
I know.
In fact, this was thanks to Molly Toms Fitzgerald, largely, and for us, it's really special because Molly Toms Fitzgerald was the mother of our classmate, Betsy Fitzgerald Brown. And Betsy has since passed away, and her mother was an inspiration to all of us for a long time. And the incentive bowl was also conceived by Natalie Whitney, who is Catherine Whitney, our classmate Catherine Whitney's mother. So we really, when we were in lower school, we started this inculcation of, we got to win that incentive bowl. So thank you very much.
So, I guess I'm not going to toot our horn. I'm instead going to give you some statistics and thank each and every one of my classmates for all of the amazing work that they've done. So, at our 10th reunion, though we didn't win the incentive board, we did set a new record for dollars raised at the 10th reunion. By the time our 15th reunion arrived, we topped 54%. By our 20th in 1995, we were just under 70%, and we have consistently surpassed 70% for each reunion year since. To put this in perspective, the national average is around 35%. We have even won the incentive bowl in non-reunion years, yeah. And we haven't just won by a percentage or two. In 2000, we had an 86.6 record participation for the 25th reunion. In 2015, 91.3%. 2017 was a bad year. We were down to 70.8%. 2018, we were at 76.9%. In 2020, we were 93.1%. Next closest class, 59.2. 2021, 82.3. And I know, we have such good bragging rights. Next closest class was 67.5%. So, I'm not bragging, but honestly, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. I mean, like, honestly, it's so nice to know that all the people that were in our class still love and come back to St. Catherine's and participate every year. And so, thank you very, very, very much.
To all the rest of your classes, you gotta get out there and beat this class next year, right? They don't get coming through. I'm Laura Birdsey, I'm the Alumni Director. I'm gonna keep this short, so we're running a little over time. I just want to thank you so much for being here. This is 2.5 years in the making, 2.5 years since our last reunion, 1.5 years since we were supposed to have one, since we shut down. I'm very grateful to our reunion committee members, especially those for 0 and 5, because it's been 2 years ago that we started planning this. So thank you to all of you for the work that you've done for being here. I know that there are a lot of people that couldn't be here today for very good reasons. We are still in a pandemic, but you can tell them what a wonderful time you had. They can come back and see us. Our doors are open. I'd love to see them. I'd love to take them on a tour. I'd love to talk with them. I can't tell you how much I've missed talking with our alumni. Doing it virtually is great because we can connect with a lot of people outside of Richmond, but it isn't the same. And so I hope that you'll go back and tell people to come back and see us and to visit us. I have one particular person I want to thank today, and that is our fearless leader of the Richmond Alumni Board who finished her term in July. And her name is Ibby Breton. Ibby, are you here? She was here earlier.
She was here.
Oh, well, she's not here. She is here because it's her reunion. But she was a wonderful leader for us. She finished her term at the end of July. In the end of June, I'm sorry. We recognized her at our last alumni board meeting, but if you see her, please tell her thank you because she did a wonderful job leading us again in the midst of a pandemic and trying to, as you all know, learning how to do your jobs, your life, your volunteer work in a pandemic is very challenging, and she was a wonderful partner for that. So she will be out on the green celebrating her 20th reunion, so please make sure to tell her thank you.